Today, I am checking out my first light novel historian video. I mean, I think I've watched like maybe a short here or there at some point. I've never seen a full-length video from him. Hopefully, this helps me to understand a lot of stuff that I might not understand, though I do understand everything because, again, S tier. If you enjoy the video, click the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it.
Lord of the Mysteries has a power system that looks insanely complex at first glance. But trust me, it is not nearly as complicated as it seems. It's actually pretty straightforward once you get into it. Simple in design, but incredibly deep.
I hope he goes over this stuff right here. All this when Klein is like kind of like formalizing. That doesn't sound right. Like a weird word. That's not a real word, right? When he is imagining. Yeah, that's so much better. Imagining all of these different things, and they're like the future shit from, you know, the time that he is from, the world that he is actually from. I hope he goes into that. That would help. I wonder if that had any effect on his powers. And I hope that is explained.
Pretty straightforward once you get into it. Simple in design, but incredibly deep in execution. Now this chart
simple in design, but incredibly
that you guys have been looking at, well, I made this over 2 years ago, and even back then it was only like
What?
halfway done. And at the time, we were still about 1,000 chapters away from the end of book 2, so now it probably covers like a third of the entire system. And before you guys ask, no, I'm absolutely not going back to finish it. That ship has sailed. Anyways,
why not? Wait, why is the ship sailed? The fuck? You serving the Lord of the Storms? Are you fucking Alger out here? What do you mean? Sailor? The ship is sailed?
In this video, I'm going to break down the LOTM power system in a way that avoids spoilers for any major plot points or big plot twists.
Oh.
So there will be nothing that ruins your experience.
Oh, so maybe we don't need this, like, he doesn't need to go back. I mean, this is his new version of it. Maybe this is him kind of doing, I don't know. We'll see.
Everything I explain here is completely safe. Whether you're planning to watch the donghua, read the novel, or check out the manhwa, your enjoyment of Lord of the Mysteries is
there
intact.
Is a manhwa coming? Or is it already out?
I've got you covered. Okay, so now let's actually get to the video. At the core of Lord of the Mysteries power system lies something called a pathway, also known as the Path of Divine. Each pathway is essentially a progression system, a mystical ladder of power made up of 9 tiers known as sequences. When someone consumes a potion associated with a specific sequence, they become what's known as a Beyonder, which basically just means someone with supernatural powers, akin to mages or cultivators in other series.
Awesome. I mean, that's a great breakdown of becoming a Beyonder. Take a potion, you become a Beyonder. The potions are for the different pathways. We got a bunch of pathways, 22 of them specifically. So it's easier if you assign a number. 22 pathways. Each one, you start it with a potion. Sequence 9. That sets you down that pathway. And now you have powers.
Beyonders unlock supernatural abilities that grow more powerful and intricate as they advance. The journey typically begins at sequence 9, the weakest, and climbs up.
Ooh, very interesting. He says typically.
They advance. The journey typically begins
at sequence 9. There's no way that's a coincidence, right? That he said typically.
At sequence 9, the weakest, and climbs upwards through the increasingly rare and potent levels, culminating in sequence 2 and 1, where a Beyonder becomes an angel-level being. There are 22 standard pathways.
And they mentioned in the old Neil class that angel level, that's where you can do your honorifics, unless you are like supported by, unless you have like support from another that allows you to get within the 3 honorifics, if it also references someone else that like kind of supports, which is essentially the case with Klein's 3-part honorific, because it mentions the fog, right?
Each entirely distinct. One might govern prophecy and destiny, others might control storms, summon the dead, manipulate shadows, or bend space itself.
Bend space, bitch, what? Sign me up. Sign me up. I think I like it. I don't know what it's called, but I like it.
Pathways emphasize knowledge and rituals, while others transform their users into horrifying monsters. Crucially, each pathway...
Oh, but he's not going to tell me what each one of them does, though, right? Damn.
grants authority over a specific domain of reality, and because of this diversity, Beyonders from different while others transform their users into horrifying monsters. Crucially, each pathway grants authority over a specific domain of reality, and because of
authority over a specific domain of reality. Dreams, the sea. Okay.
Diversity, Beyonders from different pathways can vary wildly in ability stats and roles. For example, let's look at two starting points, Seer and Hunter. These are both Sequence 9, the first step of becoming a Beyonder, but they're totally different in how they work. Seer,
now, some of them can have some similarities as well,
which Klein begins with, centers on the mind and supernatural perception. Seers gain enhanced memory, spiritual senses, and spirit vision to see ghosts, emotions, and magical energy. They're skilled in divination, using rituals to uncover hidden truths, while physically normal, they excel at sensing danger and the unseen. Now, Hunter is the complete opposite. It is the action movie pathway. As soon as someone becomes a Hunter, they get inhuman strength, speed, and reflexes.
Cool.
Like we're talking about punches that can create sonic booms. And on top of that, their natural senses go into overdrive. They can track people by smell, see invisible footprints, and hear whispers from
very interesting. He's using this, which is, I thought was more akin to the corpse collector.
They can track people by smell, see invisible footprints, and hear whispers from an absurd distance.
Now, those things seem like Hunter abilities. Heightened senses, better smell, sight, hearing, being able to track people. These are things that you would expect a Hunter to do, which is, I think, the case with a lot of these, right? The Seer specifically, that shit don't really tell you a lot, but if you apply it to like a more mysticism, if you apply it in that way, then it's like, oh, you have like heightened perception, you notice more things. So a lot of people can see shit, but you notice more things, and you have an extra layer that you can see, seeing spirits, seeing, you know, that mystical side of things, which makes sense. And I'm sure that's the case with fucking Sailor Pathway. Throw me on a boat. Probably pretty good on a boat, right? Probably pretty good on the water, specifically. You give me a rope, knots. So many knots. That's the only time I can not. Otherwise, can always. Anyways, that was a stupid joke, but we'll move on.
Like some kind of supernatural tracker. And all of this is just scratching the surface. Every pathway has its
own. And these are sequence 9. You know what I mean? These are 2 sequence 9s out of the 22. The amount of time he focused on it, and he surface level focused on sequence 9 of those 2 pathways. There are 20 others with 8 sequences beyond on those 20 others and the 2 that he mentioned. There's so many abilities in this, which is so interesting, and I want to learn so much more. I want to know it all. That's why I want the video game, because imagine you get the video game, you follow through, and you know what? I hope it's hard. I hope it's actually very difficult to move up through the sequences. That would be really cool. I don't know. We'll see. The game would be pretty sick.
Own unique flavor and function, even right from sequence 9. These early stages, known as the low sequences, specifically sequence 9.
Okay, so 8. I should refer to 9 as a low sequence. Okay, good. That's good to know. I've always like tripped over myself every time I call it like a lower sequence. I always call it a lower sequence. And then I think 1's a lower number than 9. So is that a lower sequence? But then maybe it's not lower, higher, more lower, upper. And so I always, but I can refer to it as a lower sequence. That's good to know. Thank you, Mr. Historian.
Mark the beginning of a Beyonder's transformation. While they have started to surpass human limitations, their abilities are still grounded compared to what comes later.
Bro, Dunsmith kind of look cool. That's Dunsmith? Kind of looks cool. Different from the Dunsmith we see in the Donghua. Kind of cool, not gonna lie.
Later. Powers at this level are usually focused and practical, acting as a foundation for more dramatic and reality-defining abilities unlocked in higher sequences.
That makes sense. You start very base, so that way you can make it cooler as you move further. If you start off with some really cool shit initially, it's like, then you have to go even cooler than that further along. It's like, damn, dude, how are you going to make that happen?
Sequences 7 to 5 are known as the mid sequences, a critical turning
the mid sequences. I hate that the word mid is what it is right now.
Point where every pathway experiences a qualitative leap in power, granting Beyonders a vast and often terrifying range of abilities. At this stage, some can unleash devastating gravitational waves capable of shattering ships and flattening docks. Others gain
Sailor pathway
abilities to consume a person's flesh and permanently steal their abilities, leaving the victim abilities to consume a person's flesh and permanently steal their abilities, leaving the victim powerless. Some can hijack a soul from afar, killing.
That is so fucking sick. I mean, you're kind of a cannibal a little bit, you know what I mean? So maybe, I mean, that is sick, like disgusting. But the fact that you take their powers is awesome.
The target and turning them into a puppet under their control. Certain
mid-sequence Beyonders
can perceive the sins of others and deliver.
I don't know if that's a real pathway. I would just assume. Oh wait, no, actually that's stupid. Now that I think about it, that's no. So I meant the puppeteer. It's sequence 6 of the. I don't know enough pathways to make this sound legitimate. I don't know, man. But there's probably a puppeteer sequence. It's like the name of a potion, right? Like clown or like seer.
Immediate punishments tailored to their crimes. Others can fire cosmic rays.
Actually, bitch, that's probably part of the seer pathway. The Antigonus family doll. Oh, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. If it's not, then I guess I'm stupid and demote me to an A tier. Actually, don't, please. But it probably is, right?
Soul from afar, killing the target and turning them into a puppet under their control. Certain mid.
And you know what? That also seems like it would fit in the thing where you got the clown and stuff, right? The puppeteer, the clown. The puppeteer is probably 7. That's probably 7. We go seer, clown, puppeteer, ventriloquist. It's the one where you can literally you stick your hand in people's asses and you control them. No, I don't know, but it'll probably be other like things kind of related to that in some way, controlling, but also, you know, dealing with like maybe entertaining things. I don't know. It's interesting to see what else it would be.
Sequence Beyonders can perceive the sins of others and deliver immediate punishments tailored to their crimes.
Oh, that's sick. That is so cool. Like some sort of like a judge.
Others can fire cosmic rays.
Oh, that's probably the lawyer thing. Isn't there a lawyer sequence? It's probably down that one. I think I remember seeing literally the word lawyer under one of those symbols at one point. It's for a different thing though. I think it was on, maybe it was an old Neil thing.
That are said to travel at the speed of light itself. Others can fire cosmic rays that are said to travel at the speed of light itself.
Are you saying that's something our boy's going to be able to do? Fire off a cosmic ray at the speed of light?
4 and 3 are the beginning of the high sequences, specifically called demigod saints, where Beyonders get immensely strong to a point where conventional means are not enough to stop them because of their crazy abilities. Some of these people are able to birth literal gods, exert minor influence over entire
gods, exert minor
planets,
influence over the planet,
power from the motion of stars and star clusters, shoot certain death rays, which will instantly kill anyone it touches. Certain demigods can spiritually parasitize your soul. Others wield the power.
What? Parasitize?
It touches. Certain demigods can spiritually parasitize your soul.
Parasitize like parasite?
Others wield the power to manipulate matter, trigger nuclear fission at will. A few can summon legendary figures or artifacts from history to fight for them or tap into the strength of their former.
That sounds like some corpse collector shit.
Selves. At this stage, merely laying eyes on a sequence 4 or 3 Beyonder could make you drop dead, lose control, or transform
What? What? What?
On a sequence 4 or 3 Beyonder could make you drop it.
Because they're at the demigod status, you just look on them and then you could die?
Dead, lose control, or transform into a writhing, mindless mass of flesh. And above that, Beyonders step into an
Is that how? Wait. Bro, what?
entirely different category. A stage that hovers between the very boundary of humanity and divinity, shedding the limitations of their mortal shells, and becoming, well, different. A sequence 2 and 1 Beyonder are angelic demigods capable of exerting authority on a much
conceptual level authority. Oh my god, this is fucking sick.
more conceptual level. They become full-blown mythical beings.
Mythical
an aspect
beings?
which
What the fuck?
is much more divine than it is human, allowing them to fully embody the meaning of their divine authority. Some of them are capable of directly grafting concepts onto themselves, manipulating both space and time, personally orchestrating events by bending the laws of reality in their favor, embodying the very idea of corruption. And it doesn't even stop there. Order and chaos, life and death, lights and darkness, space and time. Sequence 1 and 2 demigods break through the very idea of normalcy as their authorities.
Bro, I'm almost mad that I know this now, because now all I'm gonna want from now on is to encounter a sequence 1 or 2. And also, ain't no way Ajik is that high. Ajik's maybe nah, he can't be a 1 or 2. He can't be. It even seems surprising that he would be a 3 or 4. I think he's maybe a 5 or a 6. Unless, well, I mean, there might be more to him than we currently know. So maybe he is actually much more powerful. It's just that we don't know the things that would make him considered more powerful.
And attributes showcase the very might of their divine nature, a characteristic which puts them at the very pinnacle of the power system. Now, I'm sure you might be wondering, how do these Beyonders even ascend up the levels of power?
Okay.
And how do they move from one sequence to the other? Well, the answer to this question lies in the acting method.
The acting
as
method.
it is as fundamental to the Beyonder stability and advancement as the very potions which grant them their abilities in the first place. The acting method is a significant principle which stipulates the Beyonder to act according to the sequence name in order to fully digest the potion and avoid the risk of losing control. Let's once again take the name of Klein's sequence 9 potion, Seer, as an example. Applying the acting method to this simply means that he would be expected to act accordingly to the principles of a diviner, fully adjusting himself to the role, while maintaining a certain level of individuality. Likewise, Leonard's sequence 8, Midnight Poet, would see him having to act in the romantic disposition of a poet, writing and composing poems which stir up the feelings and emotions of the receiver, which he
which explains him a lot more.
Ironically, is shown not to be very good at, as long as a
And they did roast him on his poetry.
Beyonder is able to correctly identify the core meaning.
But we also found out that acting ain't all it is. Literally last episode.
Behind a sequence's official name, they will then be able to draft up the principles that directly applies to it, thus aiding them in efficiently going along with the stipulated acting method and furthering their advancement. Furthermore, tied into the acting method are Beyonder potions, a consumable which grants otherwise normal people the chance to step into the path of divine. If the acting method focuses on how a Beyonder should act, then the Beyonder potion simply answers the following question of how a Beyonder is made. This is a step which is regarded as the most basic when how a Beyonder is made. This is a step which is regarded as the most basic when advancing through the sequences. The potions are made by following a step-by-step detailed formula documenting the ratio and volume of ingredients to be used in its corresponding order. I have to reiterate and state that the volume and the weight of the combined ingredients must absolutely be in their correct order, as any slight mishap—
Oh, interesting. Oh, interesting. So not only do you have to find out what the ingredients are, you have to also know, like, obviously exact amounts. That makes sense too. But you have to, you put this thing in, and then you put that thing in. You don't put this thing in and then a different. No. It has to be that thing. And then you put the other. And then you include a little bit of this. And then, but if you do it out of order, it fucks it up.
Carries the detrimental risk of losing control, a fate every Beyonder strives to avoid. If you know how chemicals are—
Oh, wait. You could potentially lose control while creating, or if you consume it out of order?
In their correct order, as any slight mishap carries the detrimental risk of losing control, a fate every Beyonder strives to avoid. If you know how chemicals are combined in basic chemistry, potion formulas work kind of the same way, just with ingredients that are more on the abnormal side. And if
like the fucking the fucking, I don't know why the fuck my brain went to I was gonna say the foreskin of a midget. Oh my god, dude. I don't know, man. You know, just a weird, like a different, it's not like something like normal, you know what I mean? It's like like a random thing. You know how in all the potion mixing things, it's like the fucking dried gecko and like the two tufts of a I don't know, man. You know what I mean? A baboon's ass hair. You know what I mean? Like just random ass shit. It's like, what the fuck is— these are the things that are going into the potion, you know? The like a specific root, like a weird root.
Wondering what these so-called ingredients are, well, they are made up of major and minor elements, with the former and most important being something commonly referred to as Beyonder characteristics, while the latter are a series of supplementary ingredients ranging— and if you're wondering the same way, the ingredients are, well, they are made up of major and minor elements, with
major and minor elements,
former and most important being
major elements,
something commonly referred to as Beyonder characteristics.
Major elements are made of Beyonder characteristics, and then the minor elements,
while the latter are a series of supplementary ingredients,
are supplementary ingredients. Damn, I can't speak.
Of rabid mutated wolves to maybe something even as uncharacteristically simple as the shavings off a coral stone, with the commonality being that they all must—
two tufts of a baboon's ass hair—
be mystical in nature. Moving away from that—
oh, a mystical mystical baboon's ass hair.
It's about time I touch on yet another important aspect of a Beyonder, as successfully consuming the potion is not regarded as the end-all, be-all in the Lord of the Mysteries universe. Most of the supernatural skills and abilities associated with becoming a Beyonder cannot be used rashly, as ascension through the sequences comes with a specific limiting factor, most prominent
digestion
at the low to mid sequences, but present at every stage nonetheless. The usage of these proficiencies comes at the expense of the depletion of something known as spirituality, a mechanic as important to the power system as the potions themselves. Spirituality is solely responsible for the fueling of the mystical, mind-blowing abilities shown throughout the entire series. As a
spirituality is like mana?
Beyonder who is lacking in spirituality is reduced to nothing more than an averagely powerful superhuman, especially at sequences 9 and 8, because they won't be able to showcase the skill sets they are most notably known for to a high degree. Spirituality itself leaks into the physical world from an abstract, higher metaphysical realm known as
And who out here seeing spirits? The seer.
They are most notably known for to a high degree. Spirituality itself leaks into the physical world from an abstract, higher metaphysical realm known as the spirit world, existing as an individual extension of itself, while bonding with Beyonders, which explains why it houses such vastly arcane properties, capable of stimulating the otherworldly changes brought about by the—
This part is the most confusing to me, talking about spirituality. Because this is not something that they've talked to us about up to this point. Spirituality, I don't think.
The expense of the depletion of something known as spirituality, a mechanic as important to the power system as the potions themselves. Spirituality is solely responsible for the fueling of the mystical, mind-blowing abilities shown throughout the entire—
Yeah, so spirituality is kind of, in essence, mana.
Series, as a Beyonder who is lacking in spirituality is reduced to nothing more than an averagely powerful superhuman, especially at sequences 9 and 8.
So maybe our boy's got like insane spirituality, insane chakra, insane ki, insane whatever, you know what I mean? Chi, insane mana.
They won't be able to showcase these skill sets they are most notably known for to a high degree. Spirituality itself leaks into the physical world from abstract, higher metaphysical realm known as the spirit world, existing as an individual extension of itself.
So spirituality leaks into our world from the spirit world.
Realm known as the spirit world, existing as an individual extension of itself, while bonding with Beyonders, which explains why it houses such vastly arcane properties, capable of the spirit world, existing as an individual
spirituality exists
extension of itself. Realm known as the spirit world, existing as an individual extension of itself.
Spirituality exists as an individual extension of itself. Or is he saying the spirit world? Spirituality exists as an individual extension of itself.
Spirituality itself leaks into the physical world from an abstract, higher metaphysical realm known as the spirit world, existing as an individual extension of itself, while bonding with Beyonders, which explains
the spirit. Is he talking about the spirit world bonding with Beyonders or spirituality? No, it's spirituality.
Why it houses such vastly arcane properties, capable of stimulating the otherworldly changes brought about by the consumption of a potion. It cannot be seen or interacted with by regular mundane means, as the only way to directly connect to spirituality is for the subject to either have supernatural properties themselves, or to go
seer
through a third-party medium capable of aiding them in forging
like a seer. Wow. That is a really good pathway to be on.
The connection. This third-party medium may come in the form of an object with a mystical
or
history
not. I'm stupid. I'll shut up. I thought third party. I thought it meant like a third party person. I didn't know you meant like third party. Okay.
This third-party medium may come in the form of an object with a mystical history and background, or in some cases a Beyonder, one who aids others in communicating with spirituality on their behalf. Spirituality exists in almost every aspect of life within the universe, while also being an integral factor to becoming a Beyonder. Now,
it's an integral factor to becoming a Beyonder. Spirituality is.
What happens if you're a Beyonder whose path specializes in one type of domain, but you want to use abilities that are completely different? Let's say a Beyonder of the Spectator pathway, for example. This pathway is well known for its observational and intellectual capabilities. But what if this Beyonder wants to acquire more direct and offensive skills, similar in nature to, let's say, the Hunter or the Twilight Giant pathways? How would
the Twilight Giant? That shit sounds cool as hell.
He or she go about it? Since most Beyonder paths aren't good at everything like a few rare ones, people naturally look for—
There are a few rare ones. That's a seer right there. Seer's good at everything. I don't know what these two are, but the seer, I think that might be the assassin. I don't know. I'm just making shit up. I think that's a seer though.
Other ways to gain power, like using Beyonder weapons and sealed artifacts. These are
so if you're not good at certain things and you want to be able to do them, you might need sealed artifacts. The glove of OJ.
Items imbued with Beyonder powers, either naturally or made by someone, and most need to be handled carefully. The main determinant for if a mystical item would be classified as either a Beyonder weapon or a sealed—
I love that he's putting a fucking Minecraft diamond sword here, though.
Artifact lies in its inherent stability, as the more dangerous and— The main determinant for if a mystical item would be classified as either a Beyonder weapon or a sealed artifact—
interesting.
Lies in its inherent stability.
If it's obviously more dangerous, it ends up getting listed as a sealed artifact instead of as a Beyonder weapon.
The more dangerous an item is, the more urgent the need for sealing and safe management. Now, there's a lot more details about—
If it's a really strong sword, but it doesn't have like a— even like, what if it's like a fucking— you swing it and it shit's like a nuke? We gotta seal that. You know what I mean? That's kind of dangerous. People should not be able to just possess this. Okay.
How sealed artifacts and Beyonder items are made, but explaining it would get into major story points that new fans of the anime don't need to worry about yet. Everything that I've explained so far in this video are the basics of the sequence and potion power system in Lord of the Mysteries, without going too deep into the details. I hope this helped.
I feel like this did help a ton. Thank you, Mr. Historian. I think this actually helped a ton.
Some of the confusion from the limited info in the donghua and gave you a better idea of what to expect as the story goes on. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know by leaving a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Thanks.
Yo, go and watch Light Novel Historian's video yourself. And not just once, but like a few times. A few times, because this thing has a lot of information, a lot of interesting information, right? Like we get like little tastes. He's sitting in Costco behind one of the little counters, little itty bitty cups full of, so you can get little tastes of all of these different sequences. He talks about like little power, like he mentions powers of different pathways, you know, and how in sequences, and how powers can vary from pathway to pathway, sequence to sequence, the power levels of sequences between the lower, mid, high, and then obviously those like angelic, the really, really high tier ones, right? The demigod status, the angel status, right? Like there's a lot going on here. It's very, very intriguing, and things become more conceptual, which is like insane. And I like that the potion making stuff is like, yeah, it's kind of rare, weird stuff that goes into making the potions. So it's all very intriguing. And dog, I'm telling you, I'm so glad that I watched this specifically for the spirituality. This is not something I was as aware of. The concept of spirituality and stuff, not something I was aware of. So thank you so much for that. They might have mentioned spirituality through the anime, but I never really like picked up on it as like essentially like kind of like a mana pool. You know what I mean? I never really recognized that. So really great. Absolutely loved it. What do you guys think about Light Novel Historian's video? What do you think about my video? This reaction right here. And obviously go and watch his video. Show support. Don't just watch this. Go watch his. Click the like button. Leave a comment on his video. Whatever it is. Something supportive. And subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. Until next time, make sure you all keep it fresh. Peace.